is the talking half of Penn and Teller, whose latest bestseller is God No, and his new Discovery Channel series, Penn and Teller Tell a Lie, airs Wednesday at 10. Penn Jillette is over here. Penn Jillette. There he is. How are you? There you go. How are you, Penn Jillette?
I've never been better, boss. How are you?
All right. Now, look, I know some people are going to tune into this show and say, boy, there's Bill Maher going off on religion, making it a crusade. I usually don't talk about religion. It is in the news a lot. I could talk a lot about it more, but I don't want to be Lenny Bruce and make it a thing. But we had this guy, I mean, at the top of the show, Pastor Jeffers. I like him a lot. And your book is about religion. The end of our show is going to be about it. But indulge me this 1 week, and let's talk about religion.
Please!
Because your book is God No, and one of the things I loved about it is you try to tell us why an agnostic and an atheist need to kind of get together.
Well, you know, agnostic was, to begin with, a weasel word. You know, Tom Huxley, who was Darwin's bulldog, was going to go out and speak for Darwin. Darwin didn't like confrontation a lot. So he didn't want to say the word atheist, so he said the word agnostic. But agnostic answers a different question than atheist. It's just two different issues. If you're asked, is there a God, and you answer, I don't know, that's agnostic. If you're asked, do you believe in a God, then you have to answer yes or no. And if your answer to the first is I don't know, the answer to the question is pretty much no.
Well, you're introducing logic into this now.
It's awful that you can blame, you know, and the last part of the...
But when did you come to this? I'm curious, because I try to be literally humble about this. I know people snicker at that.
Well, I think...
Because I did not come to this early in life. I mean, I got rid of my Catholic upbringing early, but I didn't really think about religion for a long time, and when I was scared, I would go, oh, God, please help me. It was
the pastor of my youth group in Greenfield, Massachusetts. My parents wanted me to go to a youth group, and I did, and he suggested reading material, and I believe I was the only one who read it. I believe that the best way to become an atheist is to read the Bible. Cover to cover, from beginning to end. But I don't mean read it with Bible study. I don't mean read it with alibis. I don't mean this is an allegory for this. I mean pick it up, like my book, and read it from beginning to end. Yeah. It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
And
well, especially the Old Testament is.
Yeah.
The New Testament is.
The New Testament has all of that stuff that they just kind of slide over that's so anti-family. You know, Jesus says over and over, abandon your family and come with me. I mean, to me, that's more horrific than the stuff in the Old Testament, which is at least about tribes and warfare. This is about if the people you love most in the world, you must love Jesus more. And the whole idea of that is sickening. I mean, I start the book by saying, if God, however you perceive God, I don't care, you know, he, she, or it, came to you, however God speaks to you, and told you to kill your child, would you do it? And if the answer is no, then in my booklet, at some level, you're an atheist. And if the answer is yes, I hope you reconsider.
Right.
I mean, I believe
of course, that did happen in the Bible.
Yeah, and you know, and then when you
But it was a practical joke.
Exactly. When you bring it up to people, they say, "But God said no, you don't really have to." And the other argument is that I find so interesting is you said earlier on at the beginning of the show about morality. And my feeling about morality is if you're doing what you're doing for reward and punishment, it's not really morality.
No.
When I'm raising my children, my job, if you believe that parents have that much of an effect on children, which they have less than we think, but my job is to get my children to act in ways that are moral when there is no fear and no reward, but to do it for the sake of doing it. When you add everlasting life as the reward and everlasting torment as the punishment, there can be no morality. We need to treat each other well because we love each other, and not for reward and punishment. And it's all about love.
You really know how to preach it.
I'll testify.
You know how to preach it, Brother Penn.